Whatever you end up calling it, I just want to remind everyone that we are standing on truly sacred ground at this point. All of this music, the blues, what will become rock and roll, what will become known as American music, was recorded where our feet are touching. Now, I also want to mention about 10 years ago, on a tour about this size, Bob Dylan walks through that same doorway. He comes up front, in front of everyone, and gets on his hands and knees and kisses this X, where we have always marked where Elvis stood to make his first Sun record. You are welcome to try to do this, John. I recommend against it myself. Those are 60-year-old germs, Bob. Now, back to the story. This is, of course, with Marion, the secretary whose office you just walked through, has introduced a young Elvis to Sam in which he passed that day. An entire year will go by before two friends of Sam's, country musicians Scotty Moore and Bill Black, are putting together a new group having the hardest time finding a lead singer. So they've come to their friend Sam to see maybe he's heard someone lately that would be a good fit. Once again, it will be Marion up front that goes out of her way to convince them to use her beloved Elvis Presley for the first audition, which is finally set up July 5th, 1954 at 7 p.m. in this room. When Elvis arrives that evening, he will find Bill Black in his upright bass standing exactly on this X. They put Scotty Moore in his usual spot. It's fine, sir. It feels amazing. Yeah. But that puts a very nervous Elvis Presley here, close to Sam so that he can watch him. Now, in this formation that night, they'll go into an audition that only lasts for an hour and a half, because this time, when Sam hears Elvis live and in person, well, this time, y'all, he still doesn't like him. He's going to call the whole thing off. No use for a ballad singer. But while everyone is putting their instruments away, about to leave and go home for the night, Sam says at the very last moment, that man jumped up, grabbed his guitar, and turned into a whole nother person. He said suddenly Elvis began to sing and perform 100% differently, and this time he was singing a blues song. Now, what have we learned? That is the business that Sam is in. It is an obscure blues song by Arthur Big Boy Crudup called That's All Right. But he's not playing it like Arthur. To try to match the other two country musicians in the room, Elvis quickly puts his own hillbilly spin on the song, which is what intrigues Sam more than anything. The combination of country and blues, black and white music. On the same night, everyone was about to leave this room and go home. They stick around and record one of the most influential songs in rock and roll history. But 3 short days later, a copy is rushed to the most popular DJ in Memphis, which is that crazy-looking man in the middle there. His name is Dewey, Daddy O. Phillips. Now, he will be playing this on his hit show Red Hot and Blue here in Memphis, so I want to play for y'all what you would have heard that night had you been hanging around. I should probably warn everyone, if you do not understand one word that Dewey says, there is nothing wrong with you, okay? This man is both Southern and crazy, and that is a powerful combination. All right, Dewey, let him know.
Oh, yes, sir, good people, so Phillips, let's bring the hottest cotton-picking thing in the country, Red Hot Blue, coming through WHBQ and Hotel Chisco on the magazine floor. Is that right, Dave? That's right. Why you call Sam Putney? I got to call Sam, Dave. Ah, Pete Picker. Hey, come on there, Ern. Good to see you, Ern. How you on, buddy? Very good, Putney. It's more like it. All right, it's okay. Nervous? Nope. All right. Just go on down and get your wheelbarrow load of mad dogs, run them through the front door and tell them Philip sent you from Red Hot and Blue. Deep. I got a new song we're going to play here. They're going to cut loose this new song. I mean, Flap Gill.
Well, that's all right, Mama. That's all right for you. That's all right, Mama. Just any way you do it, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right, Mama. Any way you do.
Folks, the teenagers of the Mid-South go absolutely ballistic for what you just heard. Keep in mind, they've never heard anything like that, which does make Dewey go crazier than he already is. He plays that song 14, I'll say it again, 14 more times in a row that night. He plays nothing else, and in fact, the next morning, Elvis Presley is signed to a 3-year contract to Sun Records. But he'll only serve a year and a half before being sold to one of the largest labels in the world, RCA Records. He will be sold for $10,000 more than any artist has ever been acquired for. He will be sold for $35,000, which Sam needs more than ever to strike while the iron is hot and invest in more musicians.